I apologize for that pause. I had to do something with my dog. But anyway, so let's get back to the idea of this argument people have between what the morning star is and what Lucifer is and what Jesus is, and they're all one. And well, I think you can shelve that. I think that's a exercise that's kind of an exercise in futility. And if you want to think of it in terms of something positive, think of the aspects. What is light? Light is the lightness that brings you home. Dark is the wanting of the light. Satan is the wanting side of things. Satan is desire. Satan is all the things that stand in the way of you moving more toward the light. Not a devil with horns who's trying to steal your soul, but an attitude or a behavior or an expression of a being that is moving more towards a self-centered, self-desiring, self-wanting relationship with the universe. More, I want more because I'm lacking something. The other side of that, the light side of the morning star, is I'm filled with light, and the light, I'm so filled with light that it flows out of me and creates compassion in this world and all around me. That's the direction that you should move in if you're a spiritual seeker, spiritual warrior. If you want to live a normal life of a consumer in this world that wants, you're always going to feel like you don't have something. You're always going to have this feeling, if I only had this or if I only had that. That's the Satan, that's the devil. That's what's going to steal your soul, not a being with horns. And neither is Jesus a being with a halo who's going to save you. Jesus is a being of light who came here to show you that you are a being of light. And that if you want to make it out of this endless cycle of rebirth into the same want and need and desire and don't have and misery and suffering, you need to become a light. And you need to have that light fill you to such a degree that it flows out of you and fills compassion into this world. And that frees you from this bondage and allows you to return back to the universe, back to home, back to the Great Mother. And it's a better route, I suppose. Unless you like this sort of thing of suffering, then you can keep going if you want. There's no one's going to push you one way or the other. But you have to really ponder deeply in your heart, what is this thing? What is this thing light? What is this thing that frees me from desire, frees me from suffering? You suffer because you feel you don't have something, or something was taken away, or you fear you won't have something, or your fear of this and fear of that. It's just a sad waste your time to spend your whole life doing that. And then to be resting on your deathbed and saying, what on earth did I do? What was I? I didn't need anything. I didn't need any of these things. And then not have the light to go home. So ponder that really deeply and see what you can do with that. And I had this other thought today. Well, I've had it before, but I had it kind of fleshed out a little bit more today. That a lot of times you think of God as the Father, and somehow there's this great mother that created the universe. But when we think of God from our perspective here, we think of God as the masculine, a form of God, as an expression of outward movement and power. That's sort of the yang side of the yin-yang, the Taoist impression of the world. So when you're non-manifest and you're in the universe, you're in the womb of the Great Mother. And before you're born here, you're in the womb of your own Great Mother. But you're in the womb of the Great Mother, and it's like in a quantum field, it's just floating, filled with potential. When his potential becomes manifest to a degree where it becomes solid and comes into this present place where we live, that feels masculine, feels like it's injected into the world. So you have this feeling that the God must be masculine. And you live your whole life under the Great Father, Father this, Father that, Father help, Father this. And when you take your last breath and you're moving out of the physical and back into the non-material, you flow in. It's sort of a yin thing. You're being pulled back into the Great Mother, back into the womb of the universe, back into the whole ethereal, non-material realm of oneness with the Great Universe and the Great Mother. And then you recycle, and then when you be manifest enough to become physical, you come back into this world. And at that point of birth, God becomes masculine. When you're in your mother's womb, your mother is your goddess. She's your great mother. She's the place where you're safe and don't have any needs. Like the great mother that exists before you become solid. But when you become formed and come out, you're back in this world again as a manifest being, and you see the world as a masculine God ahead, above you somehow. And you forget that there's a universe within and without. It's all in and out at the same time. That's really like the great mother. I know it sounds kind of confusing. So I just want to leave you with those two things to ponder, or three maybe. But if you should ponder deeply in your meditation practice, the morning star, the Venus, the false dawn, the true dawn, how that became symbolic of the difference between the Satan, the thing that wants, and light, the thing that gives, and how one became a devil, and one became an angel, and one became the God, one became the devil, and how all that affects you symbolically in your myth conscious and in the conscious of the collective. And then step back from that, and in another meditative practice, ponder the light, ponder what it is to have a great being manifest. That in the great mother, there was enough compassion and a need to be compassionate and to help people who were formed here, that it became manifest and came in the form of a Messiah or Jesus to help us get back. And that's happened time and time again. There's a lot of beings who've manifest to help us get back on track. And there'll be more coming here and there. But everything you need to think, everything you need to know, everything you need to forget is all right here within you and just outside of you. All you have to do is focus and quiet your mind, move away from sensory input, move away from the constant definition, redefining, organizing, putting forth, feel, and get quiet enough where you start peeling all those different layers of yourself down till you get to a point where you're no longer defined. And then don't define that, because that starts you into a whole nother thing. Let that go, because that's going to be the last definition is, oh, I've made it, I'm undefined. And then your mind will define what undefined means, and it puts you in another loop. So it's relaxing. There's no goal. You don't have to reach anything. It's just every moment that you're in that position of seeing the world that way is one step closer to always seeing the world that way. And once you do that, you're free. You can free yourself from this trap of suffering. If you don't have an eye, there's no eye to suffer. It's sort of like when people say, was your death painful? I mean, normally pain is something that we think about in retrospect. Ow, I hurt myself. It hurts at the moment. And then you ponder it and you think about it and you think about it and you remember it. And then you know not to hurt yourself that way again, or you share it. People have compassion for your pain. If you had no one doing that, there would be no pain, because there's no one to reflect upon it. No one to define it about what kind of pain it was or this and that. So once you pass that door and you're out of the body, there's no more eye to worry about that stuff. So you can be free of that fear a little bit, of the transition. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling, which I apologize for, but there was those points I just wanted to make. So keep it up with your daily practice. Still your mind, quiet yourself, breathe the universe in, exhale the universe out, feel it and be it. And on other occasions, ponder those ideas and see if you can't get your brain to relax a little bit and give you a hug and let you quiet. All right. It was so good talking with you. And reach out, like the comment. I like to read your comments and see what you're thinking. If you need anything from me, you can email me, text me, whatever. My information is in there. All right. Okay. Be well. I'll talk to you again soon.